G'day everyone, welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. My name's Mark. Going to have a quick look at the Ireland versus Argentina game. Just finished a moment ago at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. Give you my thoughts on the game. Let's get into it. So the game got underway and immediately, or within the first couple of minutes, we were down a man on the field. Yes, Maroney for Argentina was sent off. An unfortunate situation for him. Happens very fast in a tackle like that, doesn't it? The player had bent knees. Maroney went in, got pinged for it, had really nowhere to go in the tackle, and he was off for 10 minutes. So it wasn't really the start that Argentina were looking for. And looking back on the game now, as I've just watched it, I would say my immediate reaction was that actually really knocked Argentina to start off with. But Ireland had to be good coming back from that and getting some points on the board, and they were good. And you could tell immediately in this game that Ireland's intensity was up way more than it was against the All Blacks last weekend. So I used the word rustiness last weekend. A lot of you didn't like me saying that, but it looks as though it was true, because the way they started this game, Ireland were really on the ball and putting a lot of pressure on Argentina. They were having a lot of possession. They got territory, they made good use of it. And more importantly, when Maroney was off, they started putting points on the board. And while Maroney was off, Ireland scored 2 tries. So one to Jack Crowley, who'd started the game really well, went over. And then we saw a try from Mac Hansen, and that was a good start for Ireland. So they were out to 12-0. Albinos got a penalty back, 12 points to 3. And Albinos started the game off very well, I thought, with kicking from the tee in particular. Then we saw Ty Byrne go close to a try, but he lost control of the ball over the line, knocked it on, and that wasn't allowed. But we didn't have to wait long for the next big point in the game, and it was Finlay Bealham got sent off, and Albinos came up and got another penalty kick, so 12-6 it came back to. So Argentina, as they've been doing all year, they just grind away, they start coming back on the scoreboard, they don't panic. Ireland were playing really well in the opening parts of this game. Jamison Gibson Park, I thought, was really on point early in this game. His passing was direct. He was looking for some darting runs as well. And the forwards, we're seeing a lot of Josh van der Fleer. We've seen Joe McCarthy a lot. We've seen Caelan Doris a lot. And it just looked like Ireland were getting back to their old selves. But Argentina were hanging in there. And that's what they're so good at in these games. They just keep their presence in there. They do some hard work that goes unseen in a lot of these attempts when the team has a little bit of dominance and momentum like Ireland did have in this game. So Bealham was off the field. Was this going to cost Ireland when it came to points on the scoreboard? I thought something really smart happened next, because Ireland were down on attack, and while Ireland were down to 14 men, Jack Crowley was reading the situation really well, and he knew points of any nature were going to be important, so he dropped a goal, and it was a very good drop goal as well from Jack Crowley. So instead of Argentina getting back into the game at that point with points on the scoreboard, Crowley was able to take that momentum away from them with those 3 points. So Ireland went out to 15 points to 6. I thought that was a really smart play from Jack Crowley, and you can see that he was playing for his position in this team. About 8 minutes later though, Albinos for Argentina couldn't keep himself out of this game. He got another penalty kick opportunity, and it was straight down the middle again, so 15 points to 9. So Argentina creeped back on the scoreboard, but important thing was they weren't able to score a try when Bealham was off the field. 31st minute of the game, a really big moment for me. You'll remember by watching the game that Joe McCarthy went over and scored a try. I only saw at half time though the replay of this try in slow motion, and for me, Caelan Doris was obstructing the Argentina defender that was trying to come through and get Joe McCarthy and stop him from scoring that try. So that was a huge moment in the game. The TMO didn't catch it. I had to have a second look. Someone sent me a video of it on X as well to have a look at halftime, and it was definitely the case for me anyway as a neutral in this game. I saw that Caelan Doris took out the Argentinian defender in that move for Joe McCarthy getting that try. So a lucky break, you could say, for Ireland on that particular occasion, and it really took them out on the scoreboard as well. So Crowley got the conversion over, so we're at 22 points to 9 with about 6 minutes to go to half time, and I thought this was going to be the critical part of the game so far. And Argentina just upped their game tremendously and got down on attack in the Irish half into the Irish 22, and they started putting phase after phase together to get close to the Irish line. And I thought, wow, this is right on half time now as we're watching this pick and go after pick and go after pick and go. There was 2 great things going on here as a rugby purist. The first one was the pick and go from the Argentinians were brilliant. Their ball handling skills, their positioning on the height as far as going forward was concerned. And then on the other side, the Irish defence was fantastic as well. They were keeping Argentina out. But as those multiple phases went together, we started seeing more and more penalties coming against Ireland. And the referee, Paul Williams, was starting to warn Caelan Doris, saying, look, no more of this or you're going to get someone sent to the bin. This was a really critical part of the game, because if Argentina were able to get over and score a try just on half time, that would have brought the score back to probably 22 points to 16. But Ireland hung out for that last few seconds and they were able to stop Argentina from scoring a try. This was the most important part of the game thus far. So well done to Ireland, great defence in that last few minutes. They were lucky not to get a player sent to the bin, and Argentina would have been ruining themselves at half time and missing out on that opportunity. Half time, Ireland 22, Argentina 9. 2 yellow cards in the first half, 1 to each team, but for me it was Ireland's intensity that was winning them this game. Argentina hadn't really thrown too much at Ireland except for in that last few minutes before half time. We didn't really get to see them throw their big weapons at Ireland, and Ireland were able to repel anything that came their way, although they were lucky with the penalties. They were conceding a lot of penalties in my opinion. But it was the intensity we were seeing from Ireland. You could see they were upping the level of their game. Crowley was having a very good first half, I thought. Yeah, he did a couple of things off the ball that weren't too smart, but he had a very good first half and really cemented, I think, his position there at number 10 after this first half performance. Albornoz was doing some good work for Argentina, as he does. He's got great little depth passes that he gets his players away from, and he's also very good with the ball that he puts up to contest for his outside backs. So for me it was going to be imperative that Argentina scored first in the second half, and they did, and what a try it was from Malia. He was just absolutely brilliant. In the 45th minute he danced his way through the Irish defence. I saw him pass 4 players on the way to the goal line. It was a fantastic run. He was darting one side to the other. He went past James Lowe, he went past Mac Hansen, and I think also Jack Crowley was passed as well on the way to the goal line. It was a fantastic try. Got the Argentinians momentum back again, and it really brought them back into the game. So that was an exceptionally good start to the second half for Argentina. The conversion was good from Thomas Albornoz, and before we knew it, Argentina were right back on the scoreboard, 22 points to 16. Then it started falling away a little bit for Ireland. They started making mistakes, but it was due to the Argentina pressure that was coming on. Joe McCarthy got a yellow card next a few minutes later. Albornoz got another kick over, 22-19, and Argentina had a sniff of victory. And as we've seen all year throughout the Rugby Championship, and also since the Autumn International Series has started, Argentina are really good at the second half, coming home and really putting pressure on their opponents, and they were starting to wind up in this game, and you could tell that Ireland were getting a little bit rattled. They were making mistakes that they weren't making in the first half. They weren't getting the momentum changes that they were getting in the first half, and this was all due to Argentina lifting up the level of their game, and it was fantastic to watch. We saw Albornoz getting more involved in the game, and after Malia had scored that try for Argentina, we saw him do another good darting run as well, putting a lot of pressure on the Irish defence. And it looked at any stage that Argentina were going to probably get through the Irish defence for another try. I said in my preview video, one of the things I was looking forward to was going to be the last 20 minutes or so of this game, the bench impact that both teams were going to have. And we finally saw Jack Crowley go off, and we saw Sam Prendergast come on for his debut as a 21-year-old in an Irish jersey. It was brilliant to see. And he started off by doing some really good snappy little passes to his outside backs and trying to get that momentum back for Ireland. But as we got through to the 65th minute of this game, Ireland hadn't scored in the second half, and anything they threw at Argentina, the Argentinian defence was absolutely impressive. And we saw a couple of changes on the Argentinian side as they started to offload their bench, and I thought this is an area that we might start seeing some difference. We saw Cinti go off as well in the centres for Argentina. He'd played a really good game, and I was a bit worried that they were going to fall off defensively and give Ireland some opportunities in the the back end of this game. 66 minutes in, and Cian Healy came on for his 133rd cap for Ireland. Round of applause from me. Brilliant performance. He's done everything, Cian Healy, for an Irish jerseys. He's played in World Cups, been in winning sides against the All Blacks 5 times, not many players can say that, and won all sorts of championships as well. So a fantastic career ongoing for Cian Healy, and it was brilliant to see him come on for Ireland in the closing stages. But I must say, it was all Argentina as we headed towards the end of this game. Ireland looked like they were going to score a try a couple of times in the back end of that second half. They went out wide. Lowe in particular was good. Mac Hansen had a couple of runs. Jamie Osborne got through a gap on one particular occasion but didn't get past the Argentinian defence. And we saw Sam Prendergast have a go out wide on the left-hand side too, but he got pulled down as he was getting closer to the line. So the Argentinian defence was outstanding, and a lot of it was coming from Matera and Oviedo, who we'd spoken about, or who I'd spoken about before this game got underway. I thought Oviedo had a fantastic game for Argentina in this game. He was absolutely everywhere, and he was out on his feet literally at the end of the game. But we did. And then 75 minutes on the clock, and Cordello, a replacement that had come on for Argentina, and the forwards had a brain fade, got a yellow card. He did an illegal clear out, got the head of an Irishman, and was sent off with a yellow card, which gave the emphasis to Ireland. It gave a penalty to Ireland, where Argentina were already going to have the ball on attack and have an opportunity. So I'm sure that Contepomi is going to have a word or two to Cordello. After 75 minutes, that's not what Argentina wanted to have happen in this game. And then we saw Argentina go into hyperdrive in the last few seconds of the game. We saw a great break upfield that took them 40 or 50 metres. They then got inside the Irish 22, got very close to the line, several picks and goes, and I think they made the right decision going for a try. Albornoz didn't drop back into the pocket to try a drop goal to draw the game. He actually took one of the runs up and tried to get a try for Argentina win this game, but the Irish defence once again was too good, held them out, and it was game over after a knock-on from Argentina in that phase of play. Extremely exciting finish to the game once again, as we're getting them most weeks now, and Ireland got themselves across the line. Ireland didn't score any points at all in the second half, and that would be a major concern to Andy Farrell. Argentina came back as we expected them to, and they were absolutely fantastic. They were just a little bit unfortunate on a couple of occasions where they might have been rewarded with a player being sent off because of so many penalties. I think the penalty count was 12-5 against Ireland in the end, and that's way too high, and Andy Farrell will be having a talk to the Irish team, I'm sure, about that one. But a win is a win, and Ireland, you've got to give them credit. They were very good in that first half. Their intensity was good. When Argentina started coming back, well, we've seen teams like South Africa, we've seen teams like the All Blacks, we saw teams like France, and we've seen teams like Italy and Australia not able to deal with Argentina once they get on a roll. And that's exactly what we saw in this game from Ireland. They were put under a lot of pressure, and Argentina was scoring points on the board and coming back at them. They just ran out of bit of time, I think, at the end, Argentina. So a good win for Ireland. They got that one notch. They'll be looking to win 3 in a row now if they can for the rest of their autumn international series. Congratulations to Cian Healy, a great game. I thought Hugo Keenan played well at fullback. Jack Crowley played very well, but so did Prendergast when he came on. He kept the momentum going for Ireland at that stage, which I thought was important. James Lowe had a really good game for Ireland. I saw him do a couple of really good things in tackles today, where he held the ball up on one occasion and won a penalty for Ireland. He went in on another occasion, did a good clear out as well. And I thought at times we saw really good stuff in there from Caelan Doris and also Josh van der Fleer, particularly in the breakdowns. Argentina had a lot of good players today. I thought Garcia was good when he came on at halfback. Bertrand now, for me, is not the guy. I mentioned it in my preview video. I'd like to see Garcia starting for Argentina in this team. I think he's got a good combination with Albornoz, and I think they can work together in creating a lot better flow than what we see from Bertrand. Malia was good from fullback, very good indeed. And Maroney, despite the yellow card, did some good things in the centre, and also Sinti as well. Thought Esgro had a pretty average game. That's why he was taken off by Contepomi towards the end, and we saw Picardo come on for his debut for Argentina. But for me, Joachim Oviedo was a standout for me today for Argentina, along with Montoya. I thought he was absolutely brilliant as well. And it was very unfortunate for Argentina. They really came home with a big wind in their sails, and they were just unfortunate. I think they ran out of time at the end of the game. It was a brilliant game of rugby, a fantastic one to kick off this weekend. Let me know in the comments what you thought. If you're at the game, let me know as well. I'd love to know what that atmosphere at the Aviva Stadium was like today in Dublin. And if you're an Argentinian fan, did you go better than you thought you were going to go in this particular game, despite not winning it? I think you should be proud of your performance. Okay, those are my quick thoughts after this particular game today. Thanks very much for supporting the channel. I've got so much rugby coming up for you all over the weekend. Let's enjoy it all. Doesn't matter whether our team is playing or not. Watch those other test matches, support those teams, and let's make sure the winner is always rugby. I'll see you again soon here on Inside Rugby with Mark. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, keep enjoying your rugby, and it's adios from beautiful Cancun in Mexico. Bye for now.